Let's Cover That podcast is brought to you by CM&F Group, professional liability services for over 200 healthcare professions. Visit our website at cmfgroup.com/podcast for more info.
Hey everybody, Will Sullivan here with another episode. Let's Cover That with my co-host,
Antonina Aguza. And today we have with us Ryan Schwartz, the CEO of Mental Health Match. Ryan, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
It's so great to be here and talk about all things mental health and therapy.
Yeah, we're excited. So let's jump right in. So Ryan, tell us a little bit about your background in healthcare and what kind of led you to Mental Health Match.
That's a great question. So I actually come from a communications background. I did a lot of messaging and focus groups and things like that. And I had a personal experience of having kind of a crisis moment when my mom had suddenly passed away and looking for a therapist for the first time. I grew up in Texas. It wasn't exactly a feelings forward culture. And this was the first time that I really had entered into mental health care and therapy. And I had a really hard time finding a therapist. And so I started asking around to friends, family, like, how did you do it? You looked for a therapist once. And I kept hearing the same story over and over again, which is it was so overwhelming to search for a therapist that I just gave up. And I thought, wow, like there's a real problem here and what's going on? And so I dug deeper with therapists and realized that, therapists speak a different language than most people do. And all of a sudden my communications background started clicking in and saying, I know how to bring different audiences together. Is there a role that I could play here? And so I spent about a year and a half doing really extensive research with therapists and therapist advisors and building out a system that would help clients quickly and easily find a therapist who meets their needs. We've been going now since 2018, and we help now over 12,000 people a week find a therapist with over 10,000 therapists nationwide. And so we've come a very far way into that. And it's really exciting to see what can happen when we kind of just put a different spin on the way clients look for a therapist and the way we connect therapists with clients.
Yeah, it's really, really a cool story, Ryan, on how you've been able to kind of transition your personal experience and shift it over to a business model that's helping others. And so what is the difference with Mental Health Match on, when digging into the capabilities? How's that different than what's in the marketplace? And I know it's like very tailored based on the client or patient perspective.
Yeah,
How's that look?
That's right. So we're the first of our kind to have a matching algorithm that learns and is smart and can help clients quickly find the therapist who's the best match for them. And this idea all kind of started. During my moment, my crisis moment, when I was grieving and trying to figure out how I would process that. I was sitting with a friend in a coffee shop in Houston, and I was sitting there looking for a therapist, and she was sitting across from me setting up a dating app. And I just watched her, and within like 5 minutes, she was being matched with potential loves of her life. And I thought, finding a therapist should be easier than finding your soulmate. And we have all of this algorithm technology that has worked in other spaces like dating apps. How can we apply some of that in the search for a therapist? Because, unlike other medical professions, the outcomes in therapy really rely on the relationship and the dynamic that you have with your therapist. And so that kind of matching piece is really key. And it's what makes therapy really different than, like, say, you broke your arm, you don't really care how you and your bone doctor get along. And the outcomes that you experience for your arm are probably not really too wrapped up in that relationship. But therapy is very different in that case. So we developed this matching algorithm. We survey clients, we survey therapists, and the matching algorithm learns, how people interact, what therapists they contact, can help find some trends in there. And so when clients come, it's completely free, it's completely anonymous. They take a survey, and it shows them therapists who are available, who completely meet their needs, everything from, their expertise to their budget or insurance to different cultural factors.
So Ryan, you mentioned that the beginning portion of the onboarding is free, but how does it work with a patient finally meeting a therapist? Is insurance involved? Is the whole platform free? Can you talk a little bit about that?
We are completely free for clients looking for a therapist. We are very values driven, and exists to get people the help that they need quickly, right? We came out of this personal experience where there were so many barriers that I heard, that kept people out of therapy. And so, actually finding a therapist shouldn't be a barrier. And so we really want to help people. It's completely free for that side. The business works as after therapists have a 60 or 90-day free trial, they are asked to pay a small monthly subscription just to help us do our advertising and keep the system going. That can be as low as $16 a month. So, one referral a year that becomes a client more than pays for itself. It's kind of a win-win for everybody involved. Clients get it for free. Therapists get it very affordably to fill their practice. And so that's the business model that we came up with. Once a client and a therapist connect on our platform, it moves off of mental health match. And so whether the client is paying out of pocket or they're using an insurance, that's all done directly with the therapist themselves. We just help make the match and get people connected in the first place.
That's really cool. So Ryan, what's the response been on the therapist side? So, we have the patient and the client side coming in and doing this match. How are the provider side? How are they feeling about this? How's that working for them?
Yeah, it's been really powerful, right? So, on the therapist side, like therapists are never trained to do marketing or business and development. We want to hold that for them so that they can focus on their practice and what's most important to them in seeing clients. So therapists routinely tell us that the matches they get through us are much better quality, right? So on other sites, you kind of get an email that says like, "Hey, I'm Bob. I'm looking for a therapist." But with us, you know a lot more about Bob. You know what Bob is struggling with. You know what Bob wants out of therapy, the experience that they want. And so therapists love that they can go easily into an intake process with that knowledge, right? They can reach out to Bob and say, like, "You're in the right place. I specialize in grief. I specialize in substance abuse. Like, you found the right person," and can kind of take it from there. And so we find that those conversions are a lot higher for therapists. Therapists really enjoy and appreciate being able to go into those conversations with more insight. We also know therapists, there's been a number of therapists who told us that they completely filled their caseload from us. I think that that's the benefit of being a slightly newer company offering this type of service. And I think most importantly, like therapists care about their clients. And so when they have a client who comes in and says, I never thought I would find a therapist. I kind of gave up until I heard about Mental Health Match, and now I'm here. I think that that's one of the most powerful testimonials that therapists have experienced because they know that someone is getting help that might have not gotten help if it weren't for the ease of Mental Health Match.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And I'm sure that that's felt on both sides, the patient side and the therapist side. So it's really great work that, you and your platform are providing both the therapists and the clients. So tell us a little bit about any of the partnerships you might have coming up or big milestones that you'd like to share with our listeners.
Yeah, we are coming up on our millionth match, I believe. So that is really exciting. And we're doing a few other things that are really unique. So we are about to integrate a few different partnerships that excite us. One is insurance benefits checking. This is a big problem. A lot of people know they have insurance and they don't know what the benefits really are. So helping educate them, and sometimes it might be actually more affordable to go out of network depending on what your insurance coverage is. So we'll be integrating that in the next few months. We're looking at some partnerships around cultural competency and other trainings for therapists to help them improve their ability to see clients of certain populations. And we're looking at a couple of new features that we're really excited about, such as giving therapists the ability to have multiple profiles, because we know therapists have multiple niches often. So they see eating disorders and trauma, right? And so what's hard about most directory sites is that you only get one profile. So how do you say it all and really speak to the client and help the client feel seen when you kind of do a couple of different things? So we're going to allow therapists to have that eating disorder profile, the trauma profile, and that way since we survey clients, we know what they're looking for and we'll be able to show that specific profile. It just helps clients feel seen. It helps therapists kind of put their best self forward. So that's another thing that we are pretty excited about at Mental Health Match.
That's really really cool, especially the millionth match coming up. That's just amazing.
Yeah, it's really powerful. And I think, 4 or 5 years ago, when I first started experiencing this and thinking about this idea, I never thought we would be here, right? I mean, it's really powerful to see that with the right support and determination and like the right advisors, you can really make something happen in this world and help a lot of people. And I think it's way that, in some ways, I think it's like a way that I've honored my mom's death and made sense out of that by being able to give back and to help other folks. And it's just been a really powerful experience to see how far we've come.
Well, it's certainly an amazing story about growth for you personally, and also for mental health match, Ryan. And just, I think that's something that everybody who goes to therapy is looking for, is a way forward and a way to grow through it and from it. And this is definitely one of those stories. So thank you so much for hopping on with us.
Yeah, thanks for talking about this, and we hope that we can be helpful to all the folks that you work with, and know that sometimes people are looking for therapy. Sometimes people don't even know what options are out there, and so we really encourage everyone just to go check out and see who's available to help you, even if it's a more proactive way. I mean, I think therapy works best when it's not putting out fires, and so if you've been curious about it or curious about it for your patients, mentalhealthmatch.com. It's, as I say, completely free for clients, completely anonymous. Take a look at who's out there, and you might discover something that can help you or your patients move forward.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be with you.
And that's another episode of Let's Cover That.